Hello children, welcome back. I am Dr. Jisha Jo. In this session, we shall discuss about the functions of the kidney. Kidney performs two functions. The first function is the formation of urine and the second function is osmoregulation. First, we shall have a look at how kidney produces urine. Okay children, as I have mentioned before, so first we are starting with the formation of urine. Urine formation takes place in three major steps. There are three steps in urine formation. The first step is ultrafiltration, second step is selective reabsorption, and the third step is tubular secretion. So now we shall see what each of these steps is. So we know the blood carrying all the waste from all the different parts of the body passes into the kidney through the renal artery. The renal artery carries the blood which contain all the metabolic waste from all the different parts of the body into the kidney. Once inside the kidney, the renal artery branches off or divides and redivides to form the arterioles, and one such arteriole that enters into the Bowman's capsule is called as the efferent arteriole. And in the concavity of the Bowman's capsule, the efferent arteriole breaks off or divides to form capillaries, and a knot-like mass of capillaries is produced inside the concavity of the Bowman's capsule, and this knot-like mass is called as the glomerulus. Now, these capillaries rejoin and come out of the Bowman's capsule, out of the concavity of the Bowman's capsule as the efferent arteriole. And in the last class we have seen that there is a difference in diameter between the efferent arteriole and the efferent arteriole. This difference in diameter is very important in the first step of urine formation, that is ultrafiltration. It is because of this difference between or difference in the diameter of the two arterioles, the blood flowing through the capillaries of the glomerulus is under very high pressure. Nowhere else in our body the blood flows with such high pressure. So the blood flowing through the capillaries of the glomerulus is under high pressure. This pressure is due to this difference in the diameter of the efferent and efferent arterioles. And because of this high pressure, filtration of substances or filtration of the blood takes place at the Bowman's capsule. We have already seen that the wall of the Bowman's capsule is formed of a single layer of epithelial cells. Similarly, we know capillaries are also single layer thick. Capillary wall is also single layer thick. So here filtration takes place. This filtration is called ultrafiltration. The filtration here is taking place at a very high pressure. And since it is taking place under an extraordinary pressure, or it is under an extraordinary force that this filtration is taking place here, it is called as ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration. That is the first step in urine formation, ultrafiltration. Okay, so I told you because of this difference in diameter between the efferent and the efferent arterioles, the blood flowing through the capillaries of the glomerulus is under high pressure, and because of this pressure, high pressure, filtration of the blood takes place. And since this filtration is taking place under high pressure or under an extraordinary force, this filtration is called ultrafiltration. And as a result of ultrafiltration, almost all the liquid part of the blood, we know almost 95% of the water content will diffuse into the cavity, into the space of the Bowman's capsule, the hollow space of the Bowman's capsule. So almost all the liquid part that is water, okay, urea content, because urea is the major nitrogenous waste, urea content and other nitrogenous waste also, then salt, glucose, amino acids and other plasma solutes will filter out from the blood in the glomerulus into the hollow space of the Bowman's capsule. Okay, almost all the liquid part of the blood containing about 95% water, urea, salts, different types of salts, glucose, amino acids and other different types of plasma solutes get filtered out from the glomerulus, from the blood in the glomerulus into the hollow space of the Bowman's capsule. And this filtrate that has entered into the cavity of the Bowman's capsule is called as glomerular filtrate. Okay. Glomerular filtrate. So what are the contents of the glomerular filtrate? It contains water, urea, salt, glucose, amino acids and plasma solutes. Okay, almost all the organic and inorganic constituents are present here. It includes water, urea, salts, glucose, amino acids and plasma solutes. Larger molecules cannot pass through it. Okay, so this filtrate that has now filtered into the cavity of the Bowman's capsule is called as the glomerular filtrate. So I hope you have understood the first step, ultrafiltration. Okay, so ultrafiltration is the filtration of the blood taking place under high pressure in the Bowman's capsule. Okay, so as the blood flows through the glomerulus, what happens? The filtration takes place and the filtrate that enters into the hollow space of the Bowman's capsule is called as the glomerular filtrate. And this filtrate contains almost all the water, contains urea, salts, glucose, amino acids and other plasma solutes will be present. Okay, now the blood which passes out from the glomerulus into the efferent arteriole will be naturally thicker because almost all the water has been filtered out, isn't it? So the blood will be more thicker as it passes into the efferent arteriole. And it will contain the corpuscles, blood corpuscles, the RBCs, WBCs, the platelets, larger substances, larger components like the proteins, etc. will be present in the blood that is in the efferent arteriole with less amount of water because almost all the water has been filtered out into the hollow space of the Bowman's capsule. So the blood flowing through the efferent arteriole will be thicker than the blood that was in the efferent arteriole. Okay, so that is the first step of urine formation, ultrafiltration. Now, as a result of ultrafiltration, we have got the glomerular filtrate there in the hollow space of the Bowman's capsule. Now, this filtrate passes into the PCT, the first part of the renal tubule, that is the PCT. Okay, PCT or the proximal convoluted tubule. As the glomerular filtrate passes through the PCT, much of the water will be reabsorbed. Much of the water, because almost all the water has now entered into the glomerular filtrate, making the blood thicker. So, most of the water that is present in the glomerular filtrate will be reabsorbed. Okay, so in the PCT, so second step is reabsorption. Reabsorption is the second step in urine formation. So in the PCT, what are the substances that are reabsorbed? Okay, I am writing here PCT. What are the substances? Most of water is reabsorbed. Then what else? Sodium ions and chloride ions are also reabsorbed. So at the PCT, reabsorption begins. So because we know glomerular filtrate contain most of the water and other substances that are needed by the body, glucose, amino acids, the different types of salts like sodium, chloride ions, etc. are present in the glomerular filtrate. So reabsorption of these substances which are needed by the body will take place in the tubules of the nephron. So in the PCT, most of the water and sodium and chloride ions will be reabsorbed. Okay, now after reabsorption in the PCT, the filtrate has now reached the loop of Henle. In the loop of Henle also, so second part is the Henle's loop. So the filtrate has now reached the Henle's loop, and here also water will be reabsorbed. Along with water, sodium ions will also be reabsorbed. Okay, so now the filtrate has reached the loop of Henle or the Henle's loop. And how does this reabsorption take place? We know the secondary capillary network is present throughout the renal tubules. Okay, it is seen as a network around the renal tubules. So this reabsorption of these substances will take place into the blood that is present in the capillaries. Okay, reabsorption into the blood. That is how it is here also. Substances will be reabsorbed into the blood that is present in the secondary capillary network. So at the PCT, most of water, sodium and chloride ions will be reabsorbed. At the loop of Henle, the remaining water and sodium ions will be reabsorbed. Now the filtrate has now reached the last part of the nephron, that is the DCT. So in the DCT, once the filtrate has now reached the DCT, little bit water might be present. Whatever water is present there will be reabsorbed. Okay, little bit whatever is needed will be reabsorbed. So again in the DCT, reabsorption of water as well as chloride ions will take place in the DCT. So we have seen the glomerular filtrate. Once it enters into the tubules, the PCT, the loop of Henle as well as the DCT, there is reabsorption taking place. In the PCT, most of the water, sodium ions and chloride ions will be reabsorbed. The Henle's loop, the rest of the water and sodium ions will be reabsorbed, and by the time the filtrate reaches the DCT, remaining water and chloride ions will be reabsorbed. Now there is a speciality in this reabsorption. This reabsorption is in such a way that it does not affect the normal osmotic concentration of the blood. Okay, the reabsorption of these substances is in such a way that the osmotic concentration of the blood is not disturbed. So that is why this reabsorption is called selective reabsorption. Selective reabsorption. Okay, so why is it called selective reabsorption? The reabsorption of these substances is in such a way that the osmotic concentration of the blood is not disturbed. Okay, the osmoregulation is maintained. There is a homeostatic condition maintained in the body. Okay, so the this process of regulating the osmotic pressure of the blood is called as osmoregulation. So that is why in the beginning I told kidney performs two-fold functions. The first function is the formation of urine. Along with the formation of urine, kidney performs the function of osmoregulation. Okay, how does it perform the function of osmoregulation? By selective reabsorption. Reabsorption takes place in the kidney tubules in such a way that it does not affect the normal osmotic concentration of the blood. The blood should not become hypertonic nor it should become hypotonic. Okay, so without disturbing the osmotic concentration of the blood, reabsorption of the substances will take place. And that is how kidney helps in osmoregulation. So we have come to the second step, or we have completed the second step of urine formation, which is selective reabsorption. Now we shall move on to the third step of urine formation. What is it? It is tubular secretion. Okay, that is the third step. Writing here, third step, which is tubular secretion. So what is tubular secretion? So as the name indicates, it indicates that the secretion takes place from the walls of the tubule, tubular secretion. So certain harmful substances, certain substances like potassium ions, or certain harmful substances, or maybe even drugs like penicillin, may be secreted through the walls of the DCT into the filtrate that is present inside the DCT. From the walls of the DCT, substances may be secreted into the filtrate that is present in the DCT after all the reabsorption has taken place. Okay, this process of secretion of such substances like the drugs or potassium ions, etc., from the walls of the DCT into the filtrate that is present in the DCT is called as tubular secretion. Okay, so once after all these three processes are over, or the three steps are over, the filtrate which has finally reached the end of the DCT is called as urine. Okay, after all the three steps of urine formation, ultrafiltration, the filtrate that has entered into the hollow space here cannot be called as urine because it contains several substances which are needed by our body. So that is why it moves on to the second step, which is selective reabsorption. So reabsorption of these substances which are needed by a body will take place in the PCT, loop of Henle, as well as in the DCT. And this reabsorption is in such a way that it does not affect the osmotic concentration of the blood. And by the time the filtrate reaches the DCT, the third step occurs, which is tubular secretion. So what is tubular secretion? Certain ions like potassium ions in certain substances, harmful substances or drugs, for example penicillin, is secreted out through the walls of the DCT into the filtrate that is present in the DCT. Okay, this secretion is called as tubular secretion, and by the time the filtrate reaches the end part of the DCT, it is called as urine, because it now, once the filtrate has reached here, it will not contain any substance that is needed by our body. So it is called as urine. So the filtrate, by the time it reaches the end of the distal tubule, distal convoluted tubule, then the next region is the, which is at the collecting duct. Okay, now the filtrate passes into the collecting duct. So what is urine actually? Urine is the filtrate left after the selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. Now the urine passes into the collecting duct. We know, we have seen in the previous class that the collecting duct receives the DCT of several different nephrons, and what happens? The collecting duct receives the urine from all these nephrons and pours it into the expanded portion of the ureters, which is the pelvis. And from the pelvis, the urine passes into the ureters. Through the ureters, the urine is passed into the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is the sac-like structure which helps in the temporary storage of urine. And from the urinary bladder, through the urethra. Under the impulse of the brain, impulse from the brain, the sphincter muscles relax and the urine is passed out. And this process is called as micturition. Okay, explain micturition can be asked for the exam. So I hope the formation of urine is clear to you. We have discussed in the two functions of kidney. That is the first function, urine formation, and second function, osmoregulation, in this session. So my dear children, I hope this session is clear to you. If you have any doubts in what we have studied today, please ask your doubts and give your suggestions in the comment section. Thank you.